I want to back up, man. We touched on Len Bias. I want to ask you personally, how did that affect you when you heard Len Bias overdose? How did that affect you?
Well, I remember. I think I was in college my sophomore year, or no, my freshman year. It was my freshman year, and I was in summer school, and I didn't believe it because he had just got drafted. I said, "Oh, that's a bad rumor to put it out on somebody." I didn't believe it, but when I found out, and you find out all the circumstance around what happened, I was like, "Wow, this crack epidemic or whatever it is big." And you hear the news report on what's going on and back in D.C. and you hearing what's happening and what's going on, you're like, my city has changed. The city I grew up in has changed, and him being a great player, it had an effect on you. It's like you don't know what drugs can do to you. First time, second time, third time, you don't know. It's sort of like why I didn't get it. I don't know what's mixed with what. I don't know what's cut with what. So I didn't get into it. For him to be a hell of a player and talented player as he was, to go like that really hurt me. I mean, it set me back for a while.
And we spoke of your neighborhood earlier, Potomac Gardens, and that's widely known as a heroin strip epidemic, horrible with heroin there. And so I'm assuming you visually seen the effects of heroin, far the nodding and the different stuff. So you had a more familiar variety of heroin users.
I did. You see guys, but you stay away from guys like that. You can
Right.
see him, and you look at him, and then people say, "Oh, he's on whatever," and it's in your neighborhood. You know what it is, and you just move on. I mean, it's just another guy in the neighborhood, unfortunately,
Right.
and you hope he can get help. You can hope he can overcome it, and you see him a couple of days later, he's okay. Another week later, he's back doing the same thing. So obviously, it's a problem, an epidemic.
Yeah, and that crack thing, it hit us hard. It was new. Nobody wasn't ready for me personally. I really feel bad because I played a major role, especially in this era. Doing what we doing, being young and chasing the riches, man. But so, like you say, you look back on it, man. You see, all you can do is shake your head and pray. You know what I'm saying, and hope that you can be forgiven for it, man. But that was some deep time. I just want to get your perspective on the Len Bias piece, man. For us in the NBA, what was not the NBA? What was the best coach you ever had on any level?
On any level, you know what? To say, I always take something from each coach. You don't want to say, "Oh, this coach is better than that coach." That coach. Every coach has a style, has a particular way of he likes to coach, and I just take certain parts from each coach to learn. I could just take Coach Woods. Some of the things that he's done to me or to our team after practice, I take from him then, and I take from him now. Some of the things that he taught us, some of the things that Coach Boeheim used to talk to me about. And I can remember my freshman year, and Coach Bernie Fine was there. He was like, "Sherman, don't listen to the tone, listen to the words, because sometimes the way people talk to you, you can be offended by it. You be like, wait a minute, what did you just say to me?" He said, "Don't listen to that. Listen to the words. Some of the words he says can be good, and how he let you do your thing. If you're an offensive player and you shoot the ball. Work on your game, but shoot the ball, and you take a little bit out of each coach."
You actually played on a lot of your teams. I watched your whole career, obviously through high school all the way up. You had a few goons, man. I mean, high school you had a Ernie Hall. In college you had a Dirk Coleman, and pros you had the Jason Williams and X Man. Out of everybody you played with, not saying who the toughest, but who you seen the opposition show the most fear of when he was on the court?
Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah.
that was fine. That was easy.
That
Huh?
was easy.
Oh yeah.
I think that some of the things, because I think that some of the things he's done when he was younger, when I was on the team, he was a little older.
Right.
But some of the things he's done when he was with Seattle and just being an ex, his head was shaven, and some of the things he turned around, and the fight he had with him and Oakley was fighting in the stands. Those some of the things that, okay, people respect him. I think that him and Jawan Howard may have gotten to a little something,
Right.
and I can see, I was like, ooh, he just, he got in him.
Right.
And people respected him.
Right.
So, and I like guys who respect him, and he didn't take nothing from nobody. Coach either. He played hard. He wasn't just a guy who just set picks and was good. He played hard. He has a good skill. When he came to Boston and he was in Jersey with me. He was a little older, but he commanded respect.
Because in Seattle, he could put it in the hole.
Oh, Seattle, he was getting 20. It was him, Chambers, and
Dale
Ellis.
Dale Ellis, yeah.
And all three of them was getting 20 a game.
Yeah, he can put it in the hole.
Yeah.
Who was the most talented player you played with?
Let's start with Billy and Dirk Coleman. Then going up, Reggie Lewis was talented. You know who I came to respect when I played with him in Jersey? Obviously, Stephon Marbury. I was there. He was a very talented point guard. I respected Jason Williams when I got to New Jersey.
Play hard.
He played hard.
Yeah, play hard.
And once I saw like playing against Dennis Rodman and watching him, getting offensive rebound takes some man work. You know, back then. You know, you could get 20 rebounds, and if 17, 18 of them are just on defensive end, it's good that you rebound. But if you got like Jason Williams and Dennis Rodman was getting like 10 or 11 offensive rebounds, that takes a lot of work. He played hard, and I respected that.
Okay. How was it playing with Sam Cassell, man? I know he liked to have fun, always smiling, life
Sam
of the
had
party.
balls. I like Sam.
Yeah.
Sam was a guy, and I remember playing with him in New Jersey. And, you know, they'd go back and forth. Oh, Sherman, you be starting Sam. So I said, Sam is the man of this team. Right. You know, I had my time. And I was a little older. Right. And I liked playing with New Jersey with Sam. And Sam was the leader of that team. You know, Sam liked to have fun. But I say, Sam, if it's a last shot to be taken, you need to take that shot.
Right.
Because you had, let me tell you something. And I was playing in the league. A lot of guys can get open first, second, and third quarter. A lot of guys can't get open in the fourth quarter because they don't want the ball.
Right.
And they don't want to miss the last shot. And I could never understand why certain guys wouldn't take the last shot or be hesitant in the fourth quarter. I never understood that. If you miss the shot, you miss the shot. Be positive, think you're going to make the shot. Like Kobe Bryant, you look at him. If he missed the first 5 shots, he don't in the fourth quarter, he don't care. He's going to keep putting them up. He has confidence in himself that he's going to make it. A lot of guys, I look at Kobe, he's one of my favorite players because a lot of guys, his rookie year when he shot those air balls against Utah, that could have been it for him. He went back in the gym and improved his game and got better and better each year and had enough
balls in him.
Enough in him to say, you know what? Nobody kicking my ass. Even if he's Jordan, he playing hard against.
Right.
He ain't taking nothing from nobody.
Right.
I like that about him.
Right. And Sam says funny you say that about Sam because when Sam was in Houston, he made some big shots in that championship series. And I remember seeing him one day down at Urban Collision in D.C. And I say, man, you taking them shots. You're a rookie, man. You don't be worried about it. And he just looked at me and say, Bone, man, came with 2 things happen. Either can make it or miss it.
That's it.
And it's like, it was simply said, but it was like, but that's crazy.
That's it. I can remember Kevin McHale told me, and I think I passed up a shot, and he looked at me and said, Sherman, see all those guys hanging in the banner? They don't pass up shots. They shoot the ball. Like you said, you're going to only miss it or make it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
The check's still coming on the 1st and 15th.
Right.
Nobody's taking that from you. If you miss it, you miss it. Right. You know, he told me, say, Sherman, you could have been hot that night. You never know because you ain't taking the shot.
Right. And that's crazy. And you say because even how that translates to in the real life, because just the small things that have like obviously you was an NBA player, you got there, you put the work in, but just to hearing little stuff like that from an older mentor, it just made it opened it up and made it make so much sense to you, right? And that's what a lot, even in the streets, a lot of youth missing those little teachers, those little older guys getting those small things. You know what I'm saying?
You need that guy, especially somebody who's been there
Right.
and done that. You need that to say, oh, okay, that's what it's about. That's what it is. Because when you're young, you think you know everything. And I can remember when I was in middle school or junior high, I thought I knew a lot, and I didn't. I wasn't mentally right playing. It took me to go to number 9 and to be a good player. And I can remember my coach Steve, someone, Sherman, I want to see you here. You need to be playing in high school. To say, you know what, you're absolutely right. You need somebody to teach you and say, this is not the right way to do it. This is the way to do it, and it needs to be done. And sometimes you need to fail on your own to realize, okay, I'm fucking up. Let me go and do something right.
And that's crazy. Steve, whoever that coach was, he needs to be commended because you'd be surprised. A lot of coaches keep players in their organization that need to let them push them out just because they want to keep winning for their personal statistics, stats.
Right. He used to drive me to the game, come back and forth. And I remember going up to Hamilton, up number 9, hanging out. and just seeing guys and and he just realized, because I remember we took a trip to, I think, Detroit, and I was 14, but I was playing 16 and under because they needed more help. And he was like, "Sure, I'm gonna bring Sherman with me." Right. Okay, cool. And he said, "Sherman," he said, "Come on," he said, because you see guys who were talented and more talented than me, let their skills slip away.
Right. The street swallowed them up.
And because they don't want to do the right thing and look at the big picture. Mm-hmm. And I had good people around me to say, "No, this isn't the way to do it. Go that way." And I listen. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys have people to tell them that, but they don't listen. They didn't listen. And or they have other people saying, "Nah, man, don't listen to him."
Right. Right. What's your Mount Rushmore of NBA players of all time? You got a Mount Rushmore. 4 heads only can go on there. Who making it?
Do I have to pick different eras or this 4 no matter what?
No, you can go in from today over to...
I mean, because you don't, I mean,
ain't but 4 heads. Everybody not going to make it. It's not an insult who don't make it.
Right.
I'm just saying who makes that list?
Magic, Jordan. Okay. I'm going to take Russell because of what he done, 11 championships, and he coached 2 with the Celtics. I'm just going to pick him and some of the civil rights things he's done. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking a little bit of that. Mm-hmm. My last one, I guess I'm going to go LeBron, that last one.
So you had Michael,
Magic,
and Magic, Russell, LeBron.
Yes.
Okay. All right, give me your Mount Rushmore of coaches, NBA coaches.
Red, Phil, Popovich. I gotta get one more. Pat Riley.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right. If you can, what past player and current player that you wish you had the opportunity to play with, and why?
To play with?
Yeah.
Past player. You know what? Let me change it around. Not a past player. I wish I would have played or saw people. I wish I could have ESPN and all those games. All that was around in the 70s when I grew up. I wish I could have watched more games. Okay. Let me tell you, because I miss Pistol Pete. You know, I didn't see a lot of David Thompson games. There's a lot of teams. Think about it. There was no ESPN. We couldn't watch a lot of games. Some games was tape delayed. I just wish that I could have seen a lot of teams play back then. I grew up, when I really started getting to basketball was when the Bullets was winning. When Gus Williams, DJ, Bobby Dandridge, Wes Unseld, but Big E, all those guys, but I couldn't watch a lot of games. I wish I had the opportunity. These young guys have of watching older people play.
So is it a current player you wouldn't mind playing with? You mentioned Steph Curry earlier. Would it be one of those guys that you wouldn't mind playing with?
Playing with?
You talk a lot about Kobe also, too.
Yeah, I like Kobe. I mean, I like the way Kobe gave his effort on both ends of the court. He probably would have won. I mean, the way he played, it's sort of like Michael Jordan when you look at it. People talking about the difference Michael Jordan locked people down defensively just like he did offensively. He kicked butt and he locked you down. I like that. On both ends, he gave it 100% and played 82 games. What more can you ask?
Speaking of Michael Jordan, I read something one day. He said he got his most wins against you or something like that.
Yes. It was no most wins. I think it was like 30. It was like 30-0 or something like that.
Oh, the teams you played on. Whatever.
Yes, because think about it. The teams I played with, it was like when I went to Miami, they was kicking our butts. We was young. Right. And I went to Boston. We were there, and they get there. And after I went there, I think I went to Milwaukee. We were another young team.
Right.
You know, that was one of those stats that came up. Like, damn, I didn't realize that. And then my daughter saw that and was like, damn, what's going on? Because I always tell her, it's funny. I always tell her, you got to win.
Right.
Don't take losing for nobody.
Right.
And I told her, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You got to cheat.
Right.
You got to try. You got to do whatever is possible. Right. So she was like, I guess you didn't cheat that much, Dad.
Right. Yeah, speaking of your kids, man, how many kids you got? Is any of them in the sports?
None of them in the sports right now.
Okay.
3 kids. Okay. Two sons and a daughter. Okay. And I'm very proud of them.
Okay, great. And man, the Jordan piece, I read, I think it was either Steve Kerr, I love Steve Kerr. The year they won the championship, they played John in miniseries against
New Jersey.
New Jersey,
Right.
and they asked him this later on. They ended up winning the championship, and I think they swept everybody. I want to say, and they asked them who was y'all toughest out. He actually went back to the miniseries and said y'all gave him the toughest series because the way you attacked them as a unit, by you
Right.
putting the team together. So I thought that was a major compliment. What you think?
We knew how to attack. I mean, we were young. I mean, well, we weren't young. Our team was young because we had Keith Van Horn, Jason Williams, Chris Gatlin, Sam was there,
Curry
Kerry Gill, Kerry Kittles was on that team. We play hard. Calipari was the coach. We play hard. Jason Williams was a match for Dennis Rodman. And we knew that Chicago always had problems with pick and rolls, so we wanted to put them in pick and rolls and different things, and we pressured them. And they probably took us lightly in the first, and we took them to overtime, I think, the first game. And then after that, it became tougher. It's sort of like you have to command somebody respect to get away. I remember when I was playing with the Celtics, and we lost to Orlando the first round, one game by 40 points in the first round. And coach was like, we watching film after this. We gotta play hard. This ain't where the Celtics lose. The next game we won, and it was like a best out of 5. After that series, it became tougher because we got their respect. You know, it was us getting against Shaq and them. So we had to. It was a series after that. So sometimes you have to, as they say, punch a guy in the face first and let him know, oh damn, I'll go. I'm not. He's not scared of us. We got their respect right away.
Okay. Right now, if I go get the keys to your car, what Sherman listen to in his car? What
Old
music?
school rap.
Like who? Give me an artist.
We looking at the '80s. I can remember. I love.
No, who in your car? Who in your car?
Who in my car?
Who you listen to?
I mean, if it's not really, it's me. What I'm listening to more '80s rap. Eric B, Rakim, KRS-One, Public Enemy. I like that. I like those rap. That's what I was listening to.
Okay. If Sherman can go back and talk to the 15-year-old Sherman Douglas, what would he tell him?
Get yourself together. Concentrate on school. Work on your game. And I wish I would have worked on my game individually like they do now. Where back when we played, we always went to the park and let's say, you got your 5, we got our 5, and we played. I probably would have worked on your skills a little bit more than what they've done now because it's more of like an academy. Go work on your game, work on your game, work on your game. We didn't do that a lot. We just played ball and picked up. I would have told myself to do that a little bit more.
Okay. I'm gonna say some names. I just want you to give me whatever comes in your mind about these particular people. Former Commissioner David Stern.
Good dude. It got the NBA to that next level. International thinking of China, of the Olympics and all that stuff. So he, on a global sense, he got the NBA on the right track.
Oh, okay. The late great Coach John Thomason, Georgetown.
Probably a great coach, a better man. When you look at him, it was respect from his team because they play hard. Every night they play hard. They respected him, and you knew you was in a dogfight when you played against his teams.
Your former Syracuse coach, Jim Boeheim.
Coach is a coach that he let you be you. He don't take you out your element. Whatever you do it. You do it to the best of your ability, and he lets you play your game.
Okay. Former Mayor Marion Barnes for Washington, D.C.
Ooh. I think that he was a good dude. Obviously, he had his demons, but he had a good heart, and he was in the right direction.
Okay. Your mom, Miss Douglas.
A lady who went through a lot, loved her kids, did the best that she possibly could do.
Okay. And before I let you go, name me Syracuse all-time top 5. Any position.
Dave
Bean.
Yes. DC.
Dirk Coleman.
Pearl.
Pearl Washington.
How many is that?
3.
Carmelo.
Carmelo.
Myself and Ronnie Cycli. That's
6.
6. I
That's
know.
6.
I can't leave myself off
Okay,
when I
yeah.
want to.
Okay.
But I think you know what, I go with Ronnie and leave myself off because I think that when I look at Dave, he was probably the best player that went through for the years. I think that Pearl established Syracuse sort of in the modern era of what the program turned out to be, and the rest of the guys are different positions. But I am proud of when you look at Syracuse basketball. Some of their best players was Dave, me, and Moten come from the DC area.
Right. And that was my question. I about to actually do Moten.
And
Honorable mention?
he's that next level,
Yeah, okay.
but he's there. But that era,
Right.
pretty much, Dave was there in the 60s,
Right.
and I came through the 80s, then Moten came through in the 90s.
Right.
So we made our mark on Syracuse basketball.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you look at you go to Duke with Johnny Dawkins with the Duke,
Right.
He kind of usher Mike in there to do what he doing. You got Graham with Georgetown, his first
Right.
championship. We
Just think about this. What do you think about Duke? I can remember my coach, and we played up Sidwell Friends, and he saw Tommy Amica, who's local, and he said, "That's what a point guard's supposed to be." And I said, "What about me?" He looked at me. That's how he motivated us.
Right, John.
He was like,
That's
"That's what a point guard."
Right.
I can remember we playing either another guy. We was playing Cardozo. We won the game,
Right.
but he was like, "Man, I like that guy, Earl Moore."
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm like, "Well, what about me?"
Yeah.
But I didn't take it personally. I
Right.
just knew that was his way of motivating me,
Right.
of saying, "Yeah, you think you all that, but I like that guy over there. That guy can play."
Yeah.
And you know, he says it so I can hear it.
Right.
But I didn't. I just look and say, oh, "Okay, he's trying to motivate me." But it did. Let me pick my game up so he can be proud of me. And I hope to this day that he is proud of me and proud of the things I accomplished. I'm proud of the things that he taught me, not only as a coach, but as a man, as a father figure to say, this is the way you need to go, and this is what you need to do in life.
And Earl Moore was a scoring machine. But what's his name? Cadoz, shout out to Earl. But Mr. Woods says, he said he dropped a lot of powerful jewels, and one of the jewels that he's dropped when I'm pretty sure you heard it too. He said when you choose your woman, your wife or your girl, say don't always just judge them because they're a Coke bottle. Because remember, once they get old, they all gonna turn to a jar. So they better have some brains.
Oh, of course. Yes. I mean, you do. But as men, first we visual.
Right.
So we want to look at that, but they got to have something upstairs.
Right.
Because we all know beauty fades and sometimes, figure, fade. And he always talk about, I remember he was talking about seasoned girls. And I was like, what are you talking about seasoned girls? We watch out for them seasoned girls. He said, football season, they with them. Basketball season, they with you.
Right,
Watch out for them seasoned girls. And now you look, and we all laugh, but it was true because he went through that.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying when he's saying about you, saying to you've been through certain things. He's been through certain things. He's seen it before. Nothing, like you say, don't hate the game, don't hate the game, player hate the game. The game hadn't really changed that much.
Right.
The rules may be a little bit different. People do certain things, but it's still the same game.
Right. And Tinker told me one time that Mr. Woods was having a team meeting. He told y'all I don't know what he got. Then he said all y'all go to University of Curtbone, some shit like that. Was that your senior year or his senior year? He said some shit like that. Oh,
I don't remember that.
Oh, okay.
He may have said it. I don't remember. He may have said it when I left.
Right.
I don't remember him saying. I don't remember. He never really brung up like that.
Right,
He
right,
never really.
right.
He knew when we used to come to the games. He knew certain elements was there, obviously. But I remember him always saying, on the road, the bus leave in 5 minutes. You guys want to hang around, talk to these girls, and shake hands? I'm out of here. Because he always remember people throwing. You may lose it. You may win the game, but you're gonna lose. They're gonna throw rocks at the bus and all that. He's saying, we out of here.
Right.
You can hang around all you want to. I'm gone.
Right.
So we had to get on that bus because he will leave you.
Is there anything that you want to leave with the world that you feel like was any misconception about you that you would like to say or clear up or?
One thing I've learned, you can't worry about what other people say about you. You have to worry about, you have to know what I've done is the best that I possibly can do, or I've done what I want to do. I'm more concerned about my kids and my family, of who I'm with. I'm not concerned about what other people say because no matter what, people are always going to talk. People talk about Jesus. People talk about. I mean, everybody got opinion. Opinion is like a butthole. Everybody got one. So you have to keep moving. You have to do what's best that you think is best, and don't worry about what other people say.
So when it's all said and done, how would you want Sherman Douglas to be remembered?
Uh, I think that I just want to remember as somebody, a guy who came through Washington D.C. who made it. But there's other people who can make it too. You don't have to be a basketball player to make it. You could be a school teacher who made it. So a guy who, throughout difficult circumstances in his life, picked up his life and made something for himself.
Okay, and when you was going through Potomac Gardens again, I can vividly remember when you go to Potomac Gardens, they might got 2 or 3 crap games. They selling a whole bunch of heroin. You got dope users nodding. You scrambling through that with your basketball, going to whatever practice. What do you tell a kid in 2022 that's coming out that's not saying the same thing, but he's saying the same thing in this time of day? What do you tell them how to get out of that and how to stay focused?
I think you have to worry about because let me tell you something. I saw the crack game and I looked at it, I was like, oh man, that's a lot of money. I couldn't believe that there was 2 and 3 crack games right there with a lot of money. I looked at it and saw it, but I kept going afterwards. You have to somehow stay focused and look at the big picture of what you want to do. That money's not going to be there for long. You're going to see somebody win the crap game. It's going to get stuck up. Something's going to happen. You have to keep moving. You have to stay focused on yourself and look at a big picture of what. I have a plan of what you want to do. I had a plan of what I wanted to do, and for the most part, I fulfilled my plan. Have a plan. Have a purpose of what you want to do, of getting out of the environment and accomplish something.
What's your take on why DC put out so many great basketball players?
I think that in DC, when I was growing up, we had neighborhoods competing against each other, and it brought out the best in each other. And everybody was fighting to be the best on this side or that side. And I think that it runs in cycles. And now you have pretty much the DMV with Prince George's having theirs. You got to think about it back in the 80s, it was Baltimore who had a nice run. Philly will have a nice run. Now it's sort of DC having a nice run because the competition is there. It's opened up to Prince George's and the surroundings, and you still have pockets in DC here. And it's the love of basketball. We always love basketball in this area. We like to go to Urban Collision or Kennerly or whatever in Berry Farms because you love basketball. We love basketball. We love that blacktop. That's where we've pretty much got our game, and it's still there. The love never left DC, and we're going to hopefully continue to produce more people to come through this area to play basketball.
Yeah. And also, man, I know you was in Syracuse the whole time. You never, if I'm not mistaken, you never played in the Rocket Park, right?
No.
Okay, you came down and made your debut. I had to call y'all to retire. You was retired too there at Berry Farms.
Yeah.
You out the league, you come down. And I remind Miles to the day, we brought the first NBA player down there. You know what I'm saying? How did that feel, man? You go on that court playing in front of the locals?
Well, that's what he told me. I did an interview with Miles. He said, Sherman, you was the first NBA player to come down here. And I didn't know. I said, oh, really?
I remind him of it all the time.
Right, exactly. So, you know what? It was difficult because when I was older, the worst thing I wanted to do was play on the concrete because that don't give. You know, the wood, the floor gives. And the older you get, the more miles on your knee. And I was like, oh, this is going to kill me the next day. And it was something that it was easy for me, to get in the neighborhood. I wasn't going to run around chasing no young guy. And the court was small enough where I could use my position and shortcut a lot of places where I can use my influence to play. I was glad I went down there. It was nice seeing old friends and everybody come down there. And I was so happy of what Miles has accomplished down there, of bringing back basketball to that particular area.
It's even to the day, my man, Keith Goody from Baltimore, he always trip all that and say, man, Sherman came out there in jean shorts and played the championship game, man. So people really appreciate you coming back, showing love to the community. And I always appreciate it. Every time I call you, what I'm saying, you jump out the helicopter, man. So I definitely appreciate that, man. So, but DC, man, really proud of you, man. And we definitely happy that you was a Washingtonian,
Yes,
man. Definitely, man.
I
Definitely,
appreciate it.
man.
Thanks,
Definitely,
man. I appreciate what the things that we have went through when we were young kids, growing up in Spingarn, and even afterwards, man. It was something. I'm glad you're doing something. I'm proud of you from a distance. You know, I see some of the things that you're doing with your company and everything. I'm glad that you got yourself and you're going on the right track. I really appreciate
yeah,
it, man.
definitely. I mean, yeah,
No
definitely,
problem.
my man.
All right.
Out the park, niggas know me. Curtbone, little homie. All days, yeah.